topic of E blues from the Hal Leonard book, we might as well go to Rock Me Mama. This song is a classic blues song that's done here in a fingerstyle by Happy Traum. In the section in the book, which I don't have, it's called Rock Steady Bass. You want to hear that bass solid throughout. The way I hold my guitar like this, it's hard to get a good palm mute on it. But the way you palm mute is, I find this wrist bone here and the karate chop part of my hand. And I put the karate chop on the guitar right at the back, right at the bridge. The wrist bone I kind of hook into the E string. So I come down with that bone and hang on there. If you're too far out, you're just getting too much of a mute. So you locate it where you want it so you get some thump and some note. If you come behind the bridge, you're not muting at all. Again, the way I'm holding my guitar, it works best not to mute, but I will mute for now, even though that's affecting the way I pull on my notes and some of them are getting blurred. The first thing I'd have people do is practice that bass line. Just go through and read the low notes. So we've got 4 E's here, and in the next bar, and continuing on the next line. It's a blues, so we've got 4 bars of E, and then the A, the 4 chord. There's 8 beats of that, back to 8 beats or 2 bars of the E. The B7 chord comes, so we got the B note, the A note, and the E note. You could play that while I play the tune. The next thing you could do is copy me bar by bar playing the tune. The words we get here are Rock Me Mama. And you could copy that. Next bar you see a hammer on from 0 to 1. Next bar is identical to the first, except for this 2, this E note right at the end. Then we get the 2 and these triplets. You've done this before, sliding into the 4 and hitting the 3, the B to the D notes. Here's a little double stop, an A7 chord, the G and the C sharp note. Each bar you could practice over and over, and so you should. Even though I'm moving on, here's the next bar with the same A7 chord. Here it is again. Next bar is a little hard to read. I've got my triplets there again. So we slide into the 3-4 chord twice. That's a triplet. 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. These 2 notes are on the 2 and. So it's 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the B7 chord. So is there F sharps, D's, B and C sharp, A. And this bar is a repeat of what we saw on E before. Here's the entire melody through, which you could practice. When you do fingerstyle or classical, it's a great idea to go all the way through the song with just melody, as far as you can locate it and separate it from the rest of the song. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and triplet. practice one bar at a time. So you've got your steady bass and your melody. It's not going to work out so perfectly at first, but here we can go the bass, high note, bass again. It's a swing, so the 3 is a little closer to beat 2 than it is to beat 1. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 3, oh. Bass, 3, bass, oh, and then an open third and an E at the same time. The and, that E note after the 3, and then another bass note. I'll go slowly and awkwardly the way you might at first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you get used to that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 1 That essentially goes 3 times. So we could say the song does that. The only difference is, in bar 2, instead of just open to 2, we hammer on a 1 between them. So we're going from G natural to G sharp. That's like a flat 3 to a 3 or a sharp 9 to a 3. A very bluesy idea, and especially on E's. Very popular to do that. It's like sliding through flat 5s and things like that. In this case, it's a 3. Bar 1 and 2 are identical except for that hammer on, so we could do them back to back. Bar 3 is identical to bar 1, except for this last note. I'll leave it off. So here's bar 1 and 2 and 3. If you're good at that, and when you're good at that, I'd move on to the triplets. So we're going to look at the same speed on your bass, but 3 notes instead of 2. So we get sliding into 4, holding it while we hit the D note, the 3, and back to the B note, the 4. 1 and then the 2, 2, oh, 2, triplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and then O, 2, O, B, C sharp and E. With the 2 landing on your bass thumb. So when you're good at that, you have to back up and put in that E note. I have a little trouble preparing for that sometimes at high speeds because I want my ring finger sliding. I should prepare this E with my pointer. I rarely do. I don't usually think about it. But let's try it now. We'll go open, E, and then that triplet bar. 4 and triplet. A lot of buzz there. So that's how you should practice each thing in a song like this. Try to get good at sensing the tune, at the bass line, and then bar by bar, lick by lick, even 2 or 3 notes at a time. Here's what we have so far. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So now we can go on to the A. I have a habit when I read songs like this of making the entire chord. Could be helpful, may not be. We don't need to do it. We can only place the double stop that we need. So we need a 3 and a 2. These are the top 2 notes of an A7. And I just roll my 2 down. My C sharp finger hits the F sharp now. So it's G and C right before the next bass. That 2 is on the and then I have to land back on the G and C sharp with the next bass. So these ones are after the bass, that one's on it. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 with the bass on the second time. And then the open at the end of it. The next one's very similar. You don't roll your C sharp this time, leave it and hit the open E with it. Here's the 2 bars. Again, A7. E with triplets, bass on beat 1, triplets on 2, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a bass. 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a 1. 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a 1. 2 and 4 and. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'll do the A's and these E's now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now the B7, I like to use 2 fingers. The middle finger on the F sharp, the top 2. The B is your pointer. So we're walking down. The D on a B chord is a minor third again, like we saw a G on the E chord. It's either a minor third or it's a sharp 9. A7. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and here's the B. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, A. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice it's straight pentatonic. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and now triplets on the E, just as you saw before. Presuming you're stopping and working on every single bar as you find it, let's say you've worked through and you're ready to try all the way through. When you do this, you can slow this down if you need to. I'm going to play very slowly anyway. Pause it, play each bar as you need to do it. You could even listen to a bar, stop it, play that bar, start again, play it again, hear the next bar, play that bar.